There is a thread that runs from a recording studio in New York in 1956 all the way to a concert hall in Miami in 1969. And then forward through two riots, one bitten bat, a White House gate that never opened, and a night in Des Moines, Iowa that nobody has fully explained. Mama, I'm coming home. 12 rock singers, one unbroken line. Follow it. Number 10, Grace Slick. This is not about a stage show. It is about what happens when the spirit of out-of-control rock finds its way into the most controlled building in the country. Here is the connection. Grace Slick, frontwoman of Jefferson Airplane, the acid rock voice of San Francisco, received an invitation in April 1970 to attend a tea party at the White House. The invitation came from Tricia Nixon, the president's daughter. Both she and Slick were alumni of Finch College in New York. The letter was addressed to Grace Wing, Slick's maiden name. Nobody at the White House connected Grace Wing to the woman who had recorded White Rabbit. Slick thought, Tricky Dick needs a little acid. She brought 600 micrograms of LSD in her pocket. Her plan was precise. Drop it into Nixon's tea during a casual conversation. A gesture over the cup, a fingertip of tasteless powder, and the President of the United States would spend the afternoon trying to understand why the walls were moving. She brought Abby Hoffman, one of the most recognizable faces of the counterculture, as her date. He arrived at the White House gate in a slicked-back business suit. Security recognized him immediately. Slick was turned away at the door. And here's the part that makes it perfect. Nixon was not even attending the event. Even if they had made it inside, even if the powder had found its way into a teacup, Tricky Dick would have been somewhere else entirely. Once you see this connection, you will hear a lot of other music differently. You don't do anything at all. The FBI's assessment of Grace Slick, after investigating her background following the White House incident, an impulsive, thoughtless, rather wild, irresponsible young lady who was inclined to make a spectacle of herself. Written as a criticism, she would have taken it as a credential. She and Janis Joplin, number 9 on this list, were from the same city, the same scene, the same 1967 that changed everything. Slick aimed her chaos at the president, Joplin aimed hers at herself, and the next stop is what that looked like up close. Number 9 always had a bottle in her hand. The difference was what she did with it. Number 9, Janis Joplin. The connection is direct. Janis Joplin and Grace Slick were both San Francisco, both 1967, both part of the same earthquake. Slick with Jefferson Airplane, Joplin with Big Brother and the Holding Company, both playing the Monterey Pop Festival the same summer. The difference is that where Slick's chaos was pointed outward, at Nixon, at the establishment, at every gate that tried to keep her out, Joplin's was pointed in. She always had a bottle of Southern comfort, on stage, off stage, backstage, between sets. It was both her fuel and her armor. She had started drinking at 15. By the time the world found her at Monterey, the bottle was as much a part of the act as the voice.
You know you got it.
In November 1969, she was arrested in Tampa, Florida, for yelling at police officers doing crowd control during one of her shows. The charge: vulgar and indecent language. The specific phrase she directed at the officers: "Don't fuck with those people." Fine, $200 plus court costs. At Madison Square Garden that same year, she stormed on stage during the opening act, Ike and Tina Turner, to sing and dance with Tina. She was uninvited. Her own biographer, Myra Friedman, standing in the room, described what she witnessed. Joplin was so drunk, so stoned, so out of control, that she could have been an institutionalized psychotic rent by mania. The Rolling Stones, the headliners that night, made clear it would not happen again. Here's the thread. There is a line from Bessie Smith to Janis Joplin to every woman who came after her in rock and refused to be managed into something presentable. Joplin once fought off Jim Morrison, #1 on this list, with her Southern Comfort bottle when he grabbed her by the hair at a party. She knocked him cold. She died on October 4th, 1970. She was 27 years old.
Let's look at the numbers. Only 9% of you are actually subscribed. Honestly, that's tough to see. Our team spends days hunting down archives and verifying every single fact just to tell these stories right. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly part of the community, so please hit subscribe. It costs nothing and helps us immensely. Now, for those already subscribed, very few of you have made the jump to our membership, and that's a hard pill to swallow because you're the ones who know our value best. If this channel has moved you or inspired you, consider joining. It's the price of one coffee, but it's the literal fuel for this channel. Let's keep this alive together. Back to the story.
Number 8, David Lee Roth. Here is a story that looks like one thing and is actually another. Van Halen's concert rider contained a clause buried deep in page after page of technical specifications. Article 126, it read, "There will be no brown M&Ms in the backstage area, upon pain of forfeiture of the show, with full compensation." The story that circulated, that a pampered rock star was throwing tantrums over candy, spread through newspapers across the country. The real story is more interesting. Van Halen was the first band to take genuinely massive productions into smaller markets. Nine 18-wheeler trucks where venues were used to 3. 850 lights. Equipment with a weight that could sink a floor if the venue had not accounted for the load. The brown M&M clause was a test, embedded in a 53-page document, designed to tell David Lee Roth in 30 seconds whether the promoter had actually read the contract. Brown M&Ms in the bowl meant the contract had not been read, which meant the floor might not hold, which meant the show could be dangerous. In Pueblo, Colorado, he found brown M&Ms. He trashed the dressing room. $12,000 worth of fun, in his own words. The arena floor had sunk $80,000 worth of damage under the weight of production equipment the venue had not been prepared for. The candy was the tell. Roth later said, "Well, who am I to get in the way of a good rumor?" And here's the connection nobody makes. Every name before this on the list: Screamin Jay, Arthur Brown, Grace Slick, Janis Joplin. Their out of control was spontaneous. A coffin, a burning helmet, a pocket full of LSD, a bottle of Southern Comfort. What Roth was doing was something different.
Between my legs.
He was engineering excess, chaos as production value, wildness as cover for precision. Number 7, Steven Tyler. This is what the Aerosmith years actually looked like from the inside. By the mid-1970s, Steven Tyler and guitarist Joe Perry were being called the Toxic Twins, combinations that would have hospitalized anyone without the constitution of a touring musician, and watching the machinery around them seize up as a result. Shows were missed, lyrics forgotten mid-song. In 1979, Joe Perry quit. Not over creative differences, not over money, but because the chaos had become structurally impossible to continue inside. In 1981, rhythm guitarist Brad Whitford followed. By that point, the band that had been one of the most powerful hard rock acts on the planet had, for all practical purposes, ceased to function. Here's the connection you need to sit with. Steven Tyler's voice, one of the most purely powerful instruments in the history of rock, was being systematically destroyed by the same forces that were destroying the band. He had all the information about what that road led to. He had watched Janis Joplin die in 1970. He had watched the 27 Club take its members one by one, and none of it was leverage. Some of you just connected that to something else on this list. I know you did. Every singer on it, from Jay Hawkins to Grace Slick to Joplin herself, they all had some version of the same relationship to the thing that made them dangerous. The fuel and the fire were always the same material. Aerosmith reformed in 1984. They went to rehab together in 1986. Tyler later said the hardest thing about rock and roll was not getting into it. It was getting out of it alive. 6. Courtney Love.
Oh, look at my face. My name
Here is the line. Every woman who was called difficult or out of control or dangerous in rock history was being held to a standard that the men on this list shattered every night with no consequences. And then there was Courtney Love, who understood the standard well enough to know exactly how to violate it in a way the industry could not simply dismiss. She is the entry on this list that connects two separate threads in a single person. From Janis Joplin, she inherited the wild woman template, the raw wound made public, the refusal to soften it for an audience that wanted something more comfortable. From Sid Vicious, number 5 on this list, the entry that comes next. She inherited the punk nihilism, the self-destruction as statement, the contempt for the professional, the insistence on being exactly what she was, no matter how costly. Follow this thread. Courtney Love arrived in the 1990s with full awareness of the tradition she was entering. She had studied it, she had moved through its edges, she chose to walk into the center of it and make herself impossible to ignore. Her performances were confrontations, audiences challenged, stages invaded, the distance between performer and crowd treated as negotiable at her discretion. She made scenes in rooms specifically engineered to suppress them. She said the things the industry spent enormous resources keeping unsaid. And she did all of it while her husband, one of the defining voices of his generation, was the most famous musician alive. The pressure was immense. She aimed herself at it. And here is the connection nobody makes until they see it. The punk nihilism that runs through her connects directly to number 5 on this list. The man who lived that nihilism in its most unmediated form, who had no manager to spin the story, no wife to turn the chaos into mythology, just the stage, the needle, and a crowd that did not know whether to be thrilled or frightened. Number 5, Sid Vicious. Here is the connection that tells you everything you need to know. Sid Vicious could not play bass guitar. He knew it. Malcolm McLaren knew it. Johnny Rotten knew it. Steve Jones ended up playing bass on the recording of Never Mind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols, because Vicious was in the hospital with hepatitis. His one attempted contribution to the album was overdubbed. It did not matter. He was not in the Sex Pistols for the music. McLaren had said it plainly. If Johnny Rotten is the voice of punk, then Vicious is the attitude. The attitude in practice looked like this. At the A&M Records signing celebration in 1977, Vicious trashed the director's office and vomited on the desk. A&M dropped the band 6 days after signing them. At the 100 Club Punk Festival in 1976, he threw a glass at the stage. It shattered. A 17-year-old girl in the crowd was partially blinded. He served a week in remand. He came out and kept going. During the Sex Pistols' 1978 American tour, their only North American tour, the one that would end the band and end what was left of Vicious, he took the stage in Atlanta and then disappeared afterward. He was found in a hospital. He had carved "Gimme a Fix" into his chest with a knife. He was 20 years old. Follow this thread all the way back. Screamin Jay Hawkins built a character to perform chaos. Arthur Brown set himself on fire and turned the accident into the act. Grace Slick put 600 micrograms in her coat and walked to the gate. Janis Joplin drank her way through the center of it. Roth calculated every demolition. Tyler nearly went under. Love weaponized the tradition. Sid Vicious was not performing any of this. He was dissolving, in real time, with the cameras running and the audience watching. He died on February 2nd, 1979. He was 21 years old. The needle was still in his arm. Number 4, Axl Rose. Begin with this. Axl Rose did not start one riot. He started two. July 2nd, 1991, Riverport Amphitheater in Maryland Heights, Missouri. Guns N' Roses are mid-set, playing Rocket Queen, when Rose spots a fan near the front using an unauthorized camera. His security team had already made 4 separate requests to the venue's security to remove the person. All 4 ignored, so Rose handled it himself.
Where do we go now? Where do we go?
He dove off the stage into the crowd, tackled the fan, retrieved the camera, and was pulled back to the stage by his crew. He returned to the microphone and said, "Well, thanks to the lame-ass security, I'm going home." He slammed the mic to the stage. The band walked off. 3,000 fans rioted. 60 people were injured, $200,000 in damage to the venue. August 8, 1992, Olympic Stadium, Montreal, a co-headlining night with Metallica. During Metallica's set, a pyrotechnics malfunction seriously burned James Hetfield. Metallica cut their performance short. Guns N' Roses were supposed to take the stage next. Rose, dealing with vocal problems, delayed for more than 2 hours before cutting his own set after approximately 15 minutes and walking off. 53,000 people in the stadium, 10,000 of them rioted. Police cars overturned, fires set inside the stadium, 12 arrests. GNR was banned from the venue for life. Here is the connection that places this exactly on the map. The Riverport riot and the Montreal riot are the arena rock version of what the Sex Pistols were doing at the A&M Party and the 100 Club in 1977. The scale expanded, from a club to a stadium, from dozens of witnesses to tens of thousands, but the principle is identical. The performer refuses, the crowd detonates, the building pays. Use Your Illusion YN2, released in 1991, the year of the St. Louis riot, both contain the same line in their liner notes. Fuck you, St. Louis. Number 3, Ozzy Osbourne. This is where the map gets interesting, because Ozzy Osbourne, the man who bit the head off a bat in Des Moines, Iowa, on January 20th, 1982, understood something about chaos that nobody else on this list understood in precisely the same way. He had help. Before the bat, there was the dove. Ozzy had recently departed Black Sabbath and was building his solo career. A meeting with CBS Records executives had been arranged, the people who would decide whether to invest in him. He and Sharon planned for him to release 2 live doves into the room as a peace gesture. He brought the doves in his coat. He got bored during the meeting. He pulled out one of the doves and bit its head off, then the other. Sharon got on the phone before they were out of the building. The bat came a year later. A 17-year-old fan named Mark Neal had brought a dead bat to the January 20th, 1982 show and threw it on stage. Ozzy thought it was rubber. He bit off its head. His mouth told him immediately that it was not rubber. He was rushed to the hospital. Rabies shots followed every night for the rest of the tour. Both arms, both thighs. Everyone hurt like a bastard, he wrote later. Sharon got on the phone again. She contacted the publicist. She shaped what had happened into something that would follow Osbourne for the rest of his life. Not as an embarrassment, but as a legend. She spun it, his production manager said, right in front of my eyes. That is how chaos becomes mythology. That is how a bitten bat becomes a brand. And here is the connection to Arthur Brown, number 11 on this list. Black Sabbath's theatrical doom, its horror imagery, its stage spectacle, all of it grew from the same late 1960s soil that Brown had been tilling since 1967. The line from Brown's flaming helmet in 1967 to Ozzy's bat in 1982 is 15 years and entirely direct. Number 2, Iggy Pop. The connection you need first, The Stooges formed in 1967, directly inspired by The Doors, by the same music Jim Morrison was making in Los Angeles at that exact moment. The root of the Stooges is not just Detroit blues. Part of it is what Morrison was doing to an audience in the late 1960s. Iggy Pop heard it. He took it further. On June 13, 1970, at the Cincinnati Summer Pop Festival, on a bill with Grand Funk Railroad, Alice Cooper, Mountain, and Traffic, Iggy Pop dropped the microphone, walked to the edge of the stage, and jumped into the crowd. He was lifted above the audience. He rode on their hands. He had invented crowd surfing. He was the first person in rock history documented doing it, and he did it on live television, while a bewildered announcer tried to describe what he was seeing. That is the story people tell. Here is the one they don't. At Max's Kansas City in New York in 1973, he fell off a table covered in glassware. The glass opened his chest. He stood up and sprayed blood across the first 3 rows. His crew tried to help him off stage. He kept playing. "Bloody is bloody," he said afterward. At an earlier solo performance in Los Angeles, a show he billed himself as the murder of a virgin, he asked the crowd if they wanted to see blood. When they answered, he carved an X into his own chest. Once you see this connection, you will hear a lot of other music differently. The Sex Pistols were Stooges fans. Johnny Rotten and Sid Vicious worshiped this template. David Bowie, who recognized something in the Stooges records that almost no one else did, produced Raw Power in 1973, then brought Iggy to Berlin in 1977. Two men trying to get sober in the same city at the same time, making The Idiot and Lust for Life together. Every riot on this list, every self-inflicted wound, every confrontation between performer and crowd traces something back to this man, not because he came first. Screamin Jay came first. Arthur Brown came earlier in the decade. But because Iggy Pop is the node where everything from 1956 connects to everything from 1977. He is the godfather of punk. The thread from the coffin to the safety pin runs directly through him. Number 1, Jim Morrison. You know this story, you know it well, but knowing a story and knowing where it came from and what it made possible, those are 2 different trips. Let me take you on the second one. March 1, 1969, Dinner Key Auditorium in Miami, Florida. The Doors had not been performing well. Morrison was drunk before the show. 12,000 people were packed into a venue that had been a seaplane hangar. It was hot. The air inside the building was thick with whatever the late 1960s had become by its final year. Morrison had recently seen The Living Theater, a performance group breaking down the fourth wall, confronting audiences, turning the boundary between performer and crowd into the subject of the show itself. He wanted to try his version. Let's have a good time. Let's have a revolution. Everybody come up on stage. The stage filled with bodies, Morrison continued. Profanity, provocation, incitement. Some witnesses said he exposed himself. Others, including every member of his own band, including the road manager who stood on stage that night, said that of the hundreds of photographs taken, not one showed evidence of it. Ray Manzarek, standing 12 feet away, said it never happened. What is not disputed is what followed. A 20-city tour was canceled. A warrant was issued. On September 20th, 1970, Morrison was convicted of indecent exposure and open profanity and sentenced to 6 months in prison and a $500 fine. He was appealing the conviction when he died. He died in Paris on July 3, 1971. He was 27 years old. Florida pardoned him posthumously in December 2010. You are already ahead of me on this one. You have been watching the map build from entry 12, and you already see what this is. Jim Morrison is the center. Every performer on this list. The man in the coffin in 1956. The man with the burning helmet in 1967. The woman with the LSD in her coat pocket and Abby Hoffman at her side. The voice that carried Southern comfort like armor. The singer who engineered his own mythology. The one who nearly lost his instrument to his own chemistry. The grunge frontwoman who weaponized the tradition. The bassist who dissolved in real time. The man who started 2 riots. The one who turned chaos into a brand. The godfather of punk who bled on the first 3 rows and kept playing. All of them were navigating some version of the line Jim Morrison was trying to find in Miami in 1969. The line between what the audience wanted from him and what he actually was. The line between performance and the thing underneath it that the performance was always trying to say. He did not find it. He found a seaplane hangar in Florida instead, and then a bathtub in Paris. Some threads do not resolve. They just become part of the map. They just become the place where everything else points.